Today we're in a dream garage at Hinckley at Triumph's HQ. The Triumph factory is just over there, and behind us is a dream garage of the new classic range from Triumph for 2021. Whilst we're here at Triumph, we've just got a bit of a special treat, because what's unique with Triumph is that when they claim they have a classic range, they can put their history right back to the original Bonneville, this is what it is. This is the Bonneville T120. Miles is an expert. I am not. I'm just admiring the looks. Please tell us more. What year is this? This is the original first one.
I wouldn't call myself an expert, but this is the this is the first year of what I think has gone on to be quite a legendary motorcycle. So it's the Bonneville T120. This was launched in 1959, and it replaced, or it was the generational update from what the predecessor was called the Tiger 110, and that was marketed as going 110 miles an hour. So of course 120 was a bit of an arms race. Twin carburetors to deliver more power and performance, and targeted to start with mainly at the American market, or it was created from the pressure of the American market looking for more performance. So the 110 was evolved, redesigned, and you have the Bonneville. And
this just went crazy in America. This started a whole icon, this started a culture, this started...
I would say worldwide. Maybe not initially. This was a touch maybe too Americana to start with, and after the first bike they tweaked it a little bit. But no, I'd say this is one of those rare things you can call an icon, a proper icon. In Europe, this became the cafe racer, teenage hooligan motorcyclist bike of choice.
This was the ton-up club, this was the...
Because 2 cylinders, 2 carbs meant you could take anyone off the lights, you could be king of the hill. Whereas in racing terms, the prototype was immediately put on track in the Thruxton 500 race series, which was the sort of the national race series of the day. Mike Hailwood, actually, legendary Mike Hailwood, rode the prototype and won on it. And because it did well there, it was nicknamed the Thruxton. That's where the name Thruxton came from. It's the Bonneville T120, designed to race in the Thruxton series. So it was nicknamed the Thruxton. And then that went on to, it broke records at the Isle of Man. This was the first 100 mile an hour. And that was Triumph's test riders, so Percy Tate and also Malcolm Uphill, not necessarily in that Tate rode in a different time, but Malcolm Uphill basically broke that 100 mile an hour lap. And then...
and that was in the production class at the Isle of Man. I mean, that's 100 mile an hour average. It's hard going now.
And never mind. I think historically that wasn't an incredibly invested race effort from Triumph. So that was, the team working very hard to prove their point. And then in the States, sales exploded, and then this became the bike of choice for famous motorcyclists. So this is what Evel Knievel rode.
This was the first jump, because everybody thinks he jumped on a Harley. No, the first he was on a...
Well, that was his first televised jump. That's when he became a superstar. They had a world of sport national telecast, and he jumped Caesar's Palace fountains on this, and then he went on to the Harley afterwards.
That's right,
his one was called Colour Me Lucky. Fabulous paint scheme, red, white and blue paint scheme with circles on the design. Steve McQueen famously took these into the desert. Bud Eatkins, who was a very successful Hare and Hounds international racer. And that was adapted and made into an off-road. This was the best bike of the day. This changed the world of performance motorcycling. It looks like a classic, but actually...
But in its day, this was the rocket ship. This was the bike that, if you turned upon this, you were the man.
You were the daddy. This was the original British Superbike, I would say. And like I say, don't let the classic looks fool you. This pretty much set the bar. And then from there, people made off-road races of it. The beginning of the Scrambler world started with the TT version, this T120 TT. Those were the original desert sleds. We also had the cafe races, of course, the Thruxton races. People turned them into bobbers, into cruisers. The famous Officer and a Gentleman Richard Gere bike, a T140. That's the cruiser version. And that was then, but actually that history has continued. So this is sort of the seed that sits at the heart of the family today.
But you can see that when you look at the modern bikes. You can see the swept exhaust. You can see that, the seat, the shape, and everything.
And also it's the look, with the knee pads and all that, but also the twin engine. That vertical parallel twin, that was invented by Triumph. Edward Turner designed that for the Thunderbird. He came in from Ariel, transformed Triumph's fortunes. Post Second World War, Triumph suddenly became the brand to have because of that engine that was in the Thunderbird that Marlon Brando rode in the Wild One. And that engine developed is exactly what we have today. That's, you know, it's a development of that science and technology refined and refined.
And this actual model that we've got in front of us, this has been fully restored by...
So this is one of Dick Shepherd's
Yep.
restorations. So you know we have a visitor centre in Hinckley.
Yes.
We've got a lot of classic motorcycles there. Almost all of them are actually owned by Dick Shepherd. I'd say he's the world's authority on classic Triumph. If you've got a classic and you want to know if it's the real thing, Dick's your man, and he does an impeccable job of restoring these. And you know, it's just they famously called this the world's fastest motorcycle because it was named after the 1956 land speed record.
Because not a lot of people associate the Bonneville with the Bonneville name with the Bonneville salt flats. I don't
No,
know why you think people call it a Bonneville, but
that's exactly where it comes from. Of course, America was such a big market for Triumph in the late 50s. They were selling lots of Tigers, Tiger 110s, Tiger 90s, that the American team wanted more performance. And when they developed the bike, they decided to use the name Bonneville because in 1956, a Thunderbird-powered streamliner had broken the land speed record.
Yeah.
And then they advertised this as the world's fastest motorcycle. Obviously, that's a...
it's a great way of just imagine doing that now. The fastest bike, there you go.
Well, we got Guy Martin and a carbon streamliner of our own, so...
Yeah. I was there at the salt flats with him. Was that a couple of years ago?
That was then, yeah, it's still underwater, I think, but, or maybe not.
And this was a genuine 120 mile an hour.
I don't know. I can't.
But it was definitely over 100 miles an hour because this is the whole ton up club. This was the
ton up club of the era.
Imagine doing 100 miles an hour on it.
I mean, we're very close here to Myra.
Yeah.
Myra was, and you know, still is for Triumph, one of the biggest sort of test facility areas. So they would have certainly put this through its paces, and twin carbs on what was already a very well developed engine with the Tiger Ton 10 would have done some numbers. I'm not sure about 120, but
in the day it'd be over 100 miles an hour with shoe brakes, right foot change, probably not even crash helmets.
Brave.
Awesome.
Brave.
I think it's awesome.
I think we should get down the Ace Cafe and put
I would love to ride it. I'd
circular.
love to have a go at trying to do 100 miles an hour on it, but it's just too beautiful to ride almost.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very, very much. And
You're very welcome.
if you need a home for it, I don't mind. It'll go in the front room quite nicely.
I'll let Dick know. He may do you a good price.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Okay.